Everybody good?
Yeah.
Yeah, want to start? Tracy?
Sure, I'll start. You mentioned last night that there were a bunch of things that you could do better. What are some of the things that you would like to see improved as you go into game two and try and take both here?
Well, our forecheck's got to be better, and we got caught underneath the puck a number of times and gave up some odd man rushes. I thought our D did a nice job handling those odd man rushes and limiting their scoring chances, but too many dangerous situations for my liking is the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like Drouin's going to skate today or has skated.
Yeah.
I guess is the recovery, because that's the injury seems a little different than like a tear or something like that. Is that recovery a little quicker once he gets on the ice or something?
We don't know. Yeah, just depends on how he handles it, how he's feeling. He's feeling pretty good though in the gym. He started to ramp up doing more and more when it comes to his rehab process, but you just never know when you get on the ice, see how he feels. And you also want that wound to heal enough that it's not in jeopardy of busting open again, and that seems to be going good as well. So he's definitely making progress, but I don't have a timeline on him yet.
Corey?
Two things about Josh. The first thing, so game one in Winnipeg, obviously he makes the pass in the middle of the ice. He had the missed coverage. Just sort of the juxtaposition of him going from kind of the goat of game one in the first round to kind of the hero in game one of this round, given that play that he made when it was 3-0.
Yeah, I think so that's a tough job in the Winnipeg series. Like some of those mistakes happen throughout the course of a game. They just happen to capitalize on both those opportunities, and so it looks bad for Josh after that game, but we really like this series. Like, he was an impactful player on the defending side with the physicality that he brings, and as you've seen throughout the course of the season, he's been making a lot of offensive plays too and involved in our offense. But last night, he makes a huge play to keep it at 3. And like, we've been happy with his game on both sides of the puck. I think it's a better year offensively than he's had in quite some time, and yet still, like, on the defensive side of it, he keeps making plays like that at key times, and last night was just another example. So I mean, he deserves some of the praise. He keeps the game in reach there. Same with Gorgie, keeps the game in reach for a while, and then allows us to find our legs and get our game in order and be able to come back and win that one.
He was an important guy for Anaheim for several years, played a lot of minutes, but
Yeah.
is that offensive stuff, has he found more of that in the last, I guess, maybe even this season, even compared to 2019 or 2020?
Yeah, I don't know. For sure, I think this is his best offensive production. But part of that, I think, with Josh is he's healthy. He's been a really good player for us when healthy, and he had the injury trouble last year, and that can take its toll on you. Like, we've seen guys go out and have surgery with the same injury or less, and he tried to fight through it, so he wasn't at 100%. But so in the last few years, I think numbers-wise, it's his best since 17, 18, somewhere in there. So obviously still capable of helping produce, and I think now that he's feeling good, that we can expect that from him. I think it's a really good, solid year. I think he expects to be able to help contribute to our team's success on both sides of the puck, and he's very good at it.
Jesse?
We haven't maybe talked about him very much this season since he came back, but the way that Sam Girard is playing right now, he's not necessarily all over the score sheet last night, but there's several plays in that game where he plays a key role. What can you say about him as a player, the impact that him playing the way that he's playing right now can have on your entire decor?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's huge, especially when you take the fact that we traded Bo to get Middlestead, right? Like, I think the play of G and Mance this season probably allowed us to do that, and then being able to get Walker back obviously helps, but I think G's been exceptional since he's been back. Regular season, playoffs. I mean, he just helps in so many different ways. Again, it's not always on the score sheet, but it's like solid defending, breakout, consistency, the ability to both shut down the rush and then transition the puck in neutral zone play, make plays in the offensive zone. I mean, he's hard to hit. He's hard to track down on the breakouts. He's like, with and without the puck, he's a solid player, right? And he contributes in so many ways. It's kind of like the defense version of like a guy like Lecky that doesn't get all the credit, or Val even at times before he kind of started busting out. But when you got guys that play the right way, do the right things, are consistent at what they do on both sides of the puck, and are really trusted, it's invaluable.
Is he an underrated defender, like in his own?
I think so. I think he is. Yeah. I think that the teams, you know, would look at his size and say, this is a guy we got to target. Well, I mean, he plays against all the other team's top players on a consistent basis. And he, you know, like, I think that was his learning curve coming into the league. The bigger guys, he'd still try and be more aggressive and physical and could get overpowered at times. But now he's just so good at using his feet and staying between the man and the puck, or man and the net. And he's got a great stick, and he's solid physically when he needs to be in the right areas. You know, he's learned how to defend the net front better with his size and positioning. So it's what players have to do, especially when you're an undersized guy. You learn how to take care of the big guys and do it effectively without just getting overpowered all the time.
Colleen?
We talked about Kerrigan making some big saves last night, and just what does it say to his mental toughness coming from that game one against Winnipeg to this game one against the Stars, to have stayed just engaged in the game and get through that first period?
Well, I mean, it's huge. I've already kind of touched on this. Like, the biggest hurdle was 1-2 in Winnipeg. And then he kind of found his groove, and now he's stayed focused. He understands what he needs to do, and he's kind of kept that going now in Series 2. That challenge from going from Series 1 to Series 2 is no different than any other player on our team. Some guys handled it better than others. Like, we had some players we really liked last night. We had some that we didn't like. I think that there's room for growth in our team from our game from last night. But I think Gorgie, especially after settling down again after the first period, that takes some resilience and some mental toughness, and he was able to do that along with the rest of our team. But I don't think Gorgie's thinking we'll game one Winnipeg anymore. That's long gone.
Two-part question. Is Kivi Ranta a possibility for game two, and what did you think of Chris Wagner last night?
I thought Wags was really good. I thought he was solid, played with good speed, physicality, his details were good. I thought he had a really nice game for his first playoff game with us. I think Kivi Ranta is back on the ice again today and is getting close. Yeah.
Sorry, Megan?
I think Orangevin had a difficult first period, and he's a player who can get emotional at times, but he really seemed to flip it around and become a big defensive later in the game.
Yeah.
I was curious what your view of that is when he's able to turn it around like that. Is that something that he holds himself accountable for? Are you talking with him to help get him back in the game?
Well, yeah, like he had a tough first period. There's no question about it. He had some turnovers, some defensive lapses, some penalties. But our team wasn't where it needed to be either. He's not alone in that. I like the fact that he was able to be resilient, same as Gorgie, to get his game back in order, to put importance on the right things, because he was impactful later in the game, and not just on the defensive side, on the offensive side as well. So wasn't Mikko's best game, but I liked his second and third period, and hopefully that's a step in the right direction. Again, like I said, coming out of the break, some players handled it really well, and we're ready to go, and we're dialed in on the detail part of the game and the work ethic that's needed, competitiveness that's needed in this series. And it took some other guys a little bit longer to get there, but it's part of the reason why I said I think we got another step we can take here, because we need everyone going from the drop of the puck tomorrow night. And but I think I do, like, we address issues constantly on the bench and in the room after periods. And I don't need to single guys out to do that. They know when they're good and when they're not good. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But I think the whole room looked at each other and said, hey, we got to be better than that if we want to win this series, if we want to win this game, et cetera, after the first period. I mean, they're competitive guys and they want to win and they care. So they're always putting the pressure on themselves to be better. Even when they're good, they're putting pressure on themselves to be better.
Last one, Evan.
You guys have played high event games this year with lots of shots, but last night was pretty low event, not a lot of shots. Do you feel like you're the type of team that can adjust to whatever the game requires, if it's more defensive, more offensive?
Yeah, I think you have to be. Because like I said, every opponent, every game can be different. different challenges within the game, things you're doing well that you saw that you need to do well before the game, and then something else springs up during the game that you have to adjust to and get better at, or something that you're having success with that you can keep exploiting. And that's from opponent to opponent. That's with the same opponent from game to game. There's always an evolution of a series, I think. But I think that the best teams are teams that can win 1-0 and also be highly dangerous. And if you need more goals than that they're able to, generate enough chances to be able to stick in games like last night, even when you go down.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.